you know.
I mean,
This is how you know who your biggest fans are.
Shut up! Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
It's a local brewery. It's like 2 miles from our house. Like I had to share it with you if it's like my favorite drink.
Oh, well, you know I'm drinking it right now.
Yes.
I wish we had a cherry for you. Cherry red. Here. No, I'm good. Just got it. I'm a farm girl, yo.
Oh, we know you are.
I pee in the woods. I cannot believe, like, this is perfect.
Good, I'm happy you like it.
We're so happy, perfect timing.
Bottoms up.
Pinkies out, bitches.
And she's got her ice in there too. Her ice in her beer.
I go everywhere with it.
I know.
I like don't, if I'm without my cup, I feel like, you know.
Naked.
Get in there so I can get. I'm filming you guys. I'll send
Yeah,
it to you.
I have to wait for the phone to go down. Come on. Okay, tell me your names.
My name is Lisa.
Lisa?
I'm Kate.
Kate, Lisa and Kate. They brought me beer! Look,
The best fan.
Grab your drink.
Grab your drink in person.
I'm waiting for the phone to go down.
Hey folks, been a while, but welcome. This is technically episode 4. Episode 3 is over there in hibernation and hasn't been uploaded yet. We'll get onto that. So technically episode 4, coming out a little bit before episode 3, probably. We'll see. So welcome. This is Happiness Delivered, a podcast about knitting and making. My name's Liliana. I'm your host, and I am coming to you from Central Florida area, Orlando area, and I'm so excited. I think what I needed was a trip to Rhinebeck to really bring back my knitting mojo, because I'm not going to say it's here in full force because I'm knitting, but I'm not like obsessively knitting just yet. But my mojo is back, my inspiration is back, my motivation is back, and really all I have to thank for that are the beautiful faces, the beautiful people that I got to meet, some I got to see again. When I tell you that I came back from that trip completely new, completely alive, in the most unexpected ways. Getting a little choked up. Please excuse me. But so, in celebration of Rhinebeck and Rhinebeck weekend, I'm going to focus this episode predominantly on the weekend and events, purchases, and things like that. So it's not going to be the standard episode per se, but that's okay. We keep things interesting here, and so the standards may be high, but the content could vary from week to week, month to month, and all that. So that being said, here's how my Rhinebeck weekend went. I was on the fence about going, mostly because as a small business owner, you know, I know that like it's an opportunity to go and network and show your stuff off and be like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. But as someone who's and I'll say this again, I'll probably say this a bunch of times, like I'm a broken record. But yeah, parcel for me is not about money. Makes me probably a terrible businesswoman. It's okay. I have bigger dreams in life than to be the best businesswoman ever. What I am interested in is community, engagement, and spreading love and compassion everywhere I go. So I was on the fence. I didn't even get my ass together and make business cards. I just went with my beautiful personality, which is not for everybody. Terms and conditions apply. Anyhow, and I just tried to be as much in the moment as I could be. So, of course, having waited really till the week of Rhinebeck what week? I probably booked my... I booked my stay, hotel, and all that. Not hotel. I'll tell you about that in a minute. I booked everything probably a week before Rhinebeck. And it was so liberating. I booked a one-way ticket. Do you know how that feels like as someone who's like always needed? For a few days, I didn't know if I'd ever come back. and they were glorious. Let's not psychoanalyze that. But in any case, I went up there. I ended up having limited options for obviously where I'm going to stay. And Saugerties and Rhinebeck, I mean, if there's hotels, big hotels, I don't know about them. They probably are more in the lines of bed and breakfasts, lots of Airbnb options, of course. Shocker, maybe shocking to no one, but I was fortunate enough to find one place really right down the road from like downtown Saugerties. I mean, literally it was on Washington Ave. So like, if you don't know Saugerties, and I don't know Saugerties, but I know the street. It's literally like Main Street becomes the street. So I was really close. Not close enough where I'd want to like hoof it anywhere, but I ended up staying in an RV. Yes, I did. Me by myself in a little camper in someone's backyard. And it was everything that I needed. Like the only thing that could have made it better was a fire pit, but I didn't want those kinds of responsibilities, truth be told. But it would have been nice because the weather was gorgeous. Like, unlike last year where it was like unseasonably hot, 80 degrees. Like I left Florida for New York. The least New York could have done last year was give me New York weather. I digress. Guess what? I still have footage from last year's Rhinebeck that I have never posted anywhere. So that could be its own video. In any case, so I ended up staying nearby and I ended up going to Cakepalooza. And then while I was at Cakepalooza or near, I decided to buy a ticket to go to Untangled. And, you know, I had thought, the thoughts all want to come at once. I'm sorry. And anyways, so I ended up then buying a ticket for Woollen Folk. And in the midst of all that, I started helping somebody. Bottom line is, I didn't spend nearly as much time at Woollen Folk as it deserved. I'll say that because once I got there, I'm like, oh yes, this is the place. This is the place to be at. Besides it being gorgeous location, beautiful setup, you know, so many vendors. I mean, it's slightly unfortunate that by the time I got there, I had bought so much stuff already. But anyhow, I still managed to get some more. I just don't remember what I did buy there. We'll find out because I'm going to go through it. In any case, so let me start off with some of the items that I got at Cakepalooza. And I can't promise that they're all going to come out in order. And I can't promise that I'm going to remember everything, whose it is, when I speak it out. But I will do my best to document it all in the show notes in the description. Okay? So, crinkly. This did not get purchased. Right back. First things first, I mean, as someone who hadn't been knitting, it was kind of unjustifiable for me to be spending money on yarn. And as somebody who, well, you know, could dye her own, it's also hard to do. But it didn't stop me. But I did try to focus on items that were not yarn for the most part. And so these ones will be easy to remember because they were all at Cakepalooza. And so, oh, don't be stealing. Oh, I'm gonna have a bag somewhere. Oh yeah, I gotta get that one. Okay, so I got these bags at Tannei Casey because I'm manifesting travel for me. And anything that says Amsterdam all over it is coming home with me. Special place in my heart for that place. So I got this. I guess I got a little spike bag from when I got into Cakepalooza. So I appreciate that. I'll put that to good use when I start a project and don't plan to finish it, which is all of them. And this was actually my first choice, but it wasn't the first one I saw. I actually saw this one first. And I would have loved it in a darker print. And I found this one. So I clearly didn't choose. I just chose both. I figured you were both there for me. So I'm definitely going to take that. So, yes. Tannei Casey. I got a bag of hers last year. I love it. In fact, let me step up for just a moment and I'll get the other bag. I'm back. Okay, so you saw those. This is the bag I got last year. Figured it was around. I like these little drawstring ones the most because cats. You know, relatable much. So, and then Dolphina bags, who I hadn't seen her stuff there before. I got these ones because, I mean, irreverent, red lipstick vixen. I'm not calling myself a vixen, but you might. Just kidding. So I got this one because it was saucy. And then I got this one because it was witchy. You know? I mean, it's big enough for a sweater. I guess I better start knitting one. Because I did not get my ass in gear to knit a Rhinebeck sweater this year. But I did manage to get my ends woven in from last year's Rhinebeck sweater in time for this year's Rhinebeck. So we'll call that a win. All right, so I'm going to just start off with like my trophy. Oh, hang on, my trophy. Speaking of my trophy, I got these little earrings, which are not earrings. They're stitch markers. You see? Probably not so well. And these are Black Pearl Magic, whom I love. Shayla, love you. You know how you meet somebody and you're just like, your energy. I like your energy. And I met her last year, and it was good this year. Anyways, so yeah, 2 little stitch markers that are now permanent little earlobe objects for me. Because honestly, they're glass. They'll probably stand a better chance of staying alive and intact if they're on my ears. But my trophy from Rhinebeck is in here. Is the bag. The trophy is the bag. It's not in here. This is it. So yeah, I got the beautiful, deliciously large, excessively massive Black Pearl Magic bag. After having serious FOMO for a year, I had serious FOMO for a year. I recall specifically saying to Shayla, I was like, oh, I would love to get that bag, but I know that I'm going to buy this and my daughter's going to steal it from me. So the solution was obviously to get a bag that was bigger than my child. So therefore, she couldn't steal it. Genius. So yeah, I was so happy. And guess what? Guess what also brought me so much joy? I got so much joy from name dropping Black Pearl Magic everywhere I went. Bonus. Because who can't love that bag when they see that? They're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, it's like that. Okay, so let me take this bag, the bag of bags, get that bag out. Oh, by the way, I lost my wallet. Not the important one. I mean, it's kind of important, but it didn't have my essentials in it at the time because I had just shoved wallets and stuff in a bag, and I'm always moving between purses, so like I had the stack of paper, cards and stuff in the pocket, but I had been meaning to move. Why am I telling you this? I've been meaning to move wallets. I must have cleared out space and then put it down somewhere in the RV, and somewhere it hasn't been found. I should probably call about that. Anyhow, so in no particular order, but I guess I'll start with Cakepalooza, which was not my first purchase of the day. I was excited because Suburban Stitcher was going to be at Cakepalooza. And now I probably came on strong with my excitement, but it's okay. She should know. Everybody's happy to see them when they've been somewhere. So I decided to support Diane from Suburban Stitcher, and I bought this kit, which is probably crinkly. I won't open it because I feel like if I open it, it'll just make more noise. And I think you guys can more or less tell. Yeah, with a little bit less glare. And this is, I'll tell you the names. Oslo, Heavy Metal, and Melancholy, right here. And obviously, they're ripe for a 3-color something. Or to live happily ever after in my stash, so that I can gaze upon it whenever I wish. So that's item 1. Let me be a little bit more intentional and load them back into this bag. Load them back into this bag as I go along. All right. My first purchase of the day made me happy as well, primarily because I'm a Florida girl, and supporting some Florida people is always in the cards for me. So my first stop of the day was actually at I think it's the Perfect Blend. It's the yarn shop right there in downtown Saugerties, and Emma's Yarn was vending. She did so last year, and so this time I decided how do you not go and get these colors? It's literally on every tree. Maybe not this one, though. I did see this at Walden Pond. Anyhow, so these beautiful colors, mine. I'll tell you what they are. Foxy Lady, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is a Gigi inspired color. Oh My Gourd. Wish You Were Beer. I can't tell you how many skeins of this I already have. Can't stop me. Can't tell me nothing. Teddy. And it's looking a lot more mustardy on that screen. It ain't so mustardy. And Sprout. So, no plans for these. I don't have any plans for any of it, other than to give my money to people. Okay? So we're clear? All right, let's see. And then at Cakepalooza, from Destination Yarn, she had these gorgeous, like, solar system inspired kind of colorways. The one I was most interested in was the moon, which she hasn't quite dyed up yet. So I saw this one and I couldn't think of a better skein for me to take. I mean, it's definitely got those bluish vibes, but I wasn't picking up blue when I was holding it, so even more magical. Midnight Sky. Oh yeah. I always buy at least one skein of sparkle yarn. Last year's is not still up there. Up there. Maybe we'll do a stash drawer. Tiny stash. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Then at am I done with Untangled? Am I done? In this bag of yarn, I should say. I think so. Okay, so sorry, I was done with Cakepalooza. Untangled. Burst Yarns. I believe this is their special colorway for Untangled. So this is Hello Autumn, and this is on worsted. And you know who's getting a hat? Tell me, because I don't know. Somebody. Gorgeous ladies, by the way. All right. And then last year, speaking of my sparkle sock skein from last year I picked up a skein from Plies and Hellhound, and it was I think it's called Hoard or something like that. That was the color from last year. But this year, she had, I guess this is also her colorway specifically for Untangled, and it's called Hagstone, and it's on Nectar, which is her 60% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 20% silk. So before I reveal this color, which is so dreamy, by the way, it's obvious that like the yak base lends a depth of color that transforms it into this deep, moody, well, I'll stop because it's getting awkward. So I got these colors, these two skeins, because I figured it's beautiful and I would like to see it in a larger application than just socks or a section. This is life right here. This is can you tell? This is why it came home with me. All right, and obviously yak and silk. I mean, I don't really know too much about like how yak fabric, what kind of structure it has. I know silk will make it super drapey, and that'll make a great shawl. I mean, for sure. Oh, that with the mohair. Too hot for me. Why am I talking about mohair? All right, and then at Woolfolk, I bought one skein of yarn. Oh, pause. Story about Untangled. So, at Haynes House Yarns, I'm over here, and people them talking about how like, oh, poor Jane, she's just not selling, poor Jane. And I guess Jane is the colorway is called "Who Could Blame Poor Jane," and it's from their Jane Austen like collection. And I don't know, I just felt like it. I was like, you know what? I know somebody who likes yellow, so I'm gonna buy this color. And Jane's gonna catch a break today. And that's what I did. I grabbed it right off the shelf and showed it who was boss. It's me. And this is I think this is a 75-25. Oh, no, it's 100% merino. Gorgeous. So yeah, it's yellow with some green, lightly green speckles. I'm sure it's washing out because of the light. Okay, well, you catch the drift. Buttery deliciousness. It's not even my color. But my niece, who's got a nice tan complexion, she likes yellow, and she gets a hat. If I start knitting now, if I started knitting 2 months ago, she could have it for Christmas. I know my truth. Okay, so then to Woolen Folk. Megs & Co. I think this is also a special colorway for the show, because it says Woolen Folk 2022, and the colorway is called We Fell in Love in October. Can you blame me? I fell in love the minute I looked at this. And this is a DK. I didn't even look. I just added to cart. Okay. And then for my Rhinebeck yarn, oh, sorry, one more, and I'm gonna have to look at my credit card to tell you who that's from, because I don't know, because there was no ball band. Feedback I would like to give. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'll add it to the description. So I got this one, and it reads blue from where I'm sitting, but it's definitely purple. Purple and hot pink. And the reason that bag was crinkling, that wasn't even from this trip, is because I was like, oh, could it go? Could it go? But now I see it's too pink. Not too pink, but pink. So yes, I believe we'll find out what this is at some point. Because no tag. I'm pretty sure it feels like 100% merino. We shall see. Okay, and then my other item from, not other, this isn't it, but so then I've got this bag that I picked up also at Woolen Folk from Home Row Fibers. And not to deviate too much, but I'm not telling the stories completely in order, so like, I don't know. I can't say that I don't know why. Part of me is like, do you know why? I don't really know why, but I I decided to take, I had my tarot deck with me, and I pulled a card. I asked if anybody would like a card pulled, you know, to pull a card. And so I did that with Shayla, and it was awesome. You know, it was awesome to do that, even though I'm by no means like some kind of type of skilled tarot expert. I'm just innately curious and innately passionate about the powers that we all hold within. And so I did that as well for, oh man, her name's escaping me right now, from Home Row, let me tell you. Because it was her feedback that led me to spend more money. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. Naturally, she would not do me the courtesy of putting her name on her Instagram, so now I must struggle. Rochelle. There, it came to me. Rochelle. And so she mentioned a yarn, her friend having a yarn shop in Salem, which I took as a sign that I should definitely go to Salem, which I did. And so I drove after. I decided to skip Sunday at Rhinebeck because I was shopped out, and I wanted a change of scenery. So on Sunday, I left after around 10, and I drove 3 hours to Salem. But since none of my podcasts are in any type of chronological order, we're going to get back to that. So when I finally did make it to Rhinebeck proper, you know, New York Sheep and Wool Festival, I knew from last year that it's really a more rustic yarn. I mean, predominantly, with the exception of the few folks that are indie dyers that managed to get a booth at Rhinebeck, most of the stuff that's yarn related is more in the natural or rustic or non-superwash variety. One person I didn't see this year that I saw last year at Untangled was Jessica's Rabbits, and I had hoped to see them, not because I was going to buy a sweater's quantity of Angora rabbit, but she dyed hers up so nicely, like it was so colorful, and since I wasn't planning to knit with it, this would have been the year that I was like, I'm buying you just to hang and look at. So since I didn't see them, when I saw this at Rhinebeck, I snatched it up. And so this is some hand-spun Angora rabbit, of which, you know, I have no knowledge of how well it's spun. I have no knowledge of how well this is spun. But, oh my God, is it soft? Look, it matches. Look, I'm just gonna just wear it in my hair, see if anybody notices. Here we go. The veil is thin at this time of year. I'm sorry. Please excuse me. I'm letting too much of my personality show. Just tuck that away. Not everybody needs that. Whee. So, my only skein from Rhinebeck, but I'll be enjoying it for a long time. I thought about whether I would use it. Maybe some mittens, you know, an accent color, or like an accent in a hat. All of which is still possible, but not likely. Okay, so let's move on to some smaller items, and I think I should do it. Oh, so at Wool and Folk, I picked up this one from ShelliCan, and I also pulled a card for her. It was great. And so that was really like so cool. So cool to connect with folks, especially in this way. So I know that my willingness to kind of stand out there a little bit as the tarot toting twat. Sorry, that's not the word. Twit. That sounds more acceptable. Tarot toting twit. But it was fun because you know what? It's non-standard connection, and it's more than the physical plane. So that's where I want to connect. Oh, I got some knitting barber cables, and I got these at the Perfect Blend. Why not go purple so I can actually see them when I've got them in my knitting. Let's see what else. I got this little lotion bar because cedarwood, anything that smells this good has to come home with me. It's a little bee. And then, let's see. They included these little tea in their bag with my order. I got this. I got stickers, and I'll be honest, I started shoving all the stickers in here, and I'm not going to remember where all of them came from. There are some that definitely do stand out and go together. So let me try and see if I can lump them together for you a little bit. And by the way, I have never stuck a single damn sticker that I have bought or have been given. Yeah, no, apparently I like to keep them forever. Okay, so from Kitty with a Cupcake, I should say, I got this little tarot card, because how fitting is it? I'm just sitting around doing tarots. And it's the Death card, which shouldn't scare anybody. The Death card stands really for endings, and endings are necessary for new beginnings, so always finding the positive there, right? And then I got these stickers because, oh, hello rainbow. Here lies my motivation. And so from a distance, it's kind of a little gray-green color. And then another reflective one. It says, "Too cute for this world." And it's a little tombstone. How adorbs. And fitting with the Death card, if I do say so myself. All right, some of the pins have already made it to the bags, but I picked up these earrings from Dragon Hoard Yarn. Because bats. Nothing says witchy more than a bat, except maybe a witch's hat. But these got little pumpkins and flowers in the center, and I thought I have these plans that I don't know if they're going to materialize, but of dressing up as kind of a fortune teller for work's Halloween stuff. So we'll see if I get there. If I do, those earrings are definitely coming into play. Okay, so let's see. At the Yarnbirds truck, I purchased these stitch markers. Hopefully you can see them well. Little pine cones, little leaves, little pumpkins. Need to knit more and mark my progress. And then this little item. Do you ever get like sad because something breaks? Something broke. Last year, I'll show you where they are. I don't want those. Last year, I got these Birdie Parker stitch markers, and I had one on a project bag that had a sweater that hadn't been started, so you know, it's my own fault. But I had this stitch marker on the bag because that's the project that's in there is going to have that stitch marker whenever I do begin it, and naturally the stitch marker got stuck somewhere and broke, and so I was able to buy just the one that was missing for my little set, which is a little green leaf. Okay, and we're back. Battery issues. So I showed you the Birdie Parker things. And then I have a few envelopes of items. Yeah. I got these little tags also at Sheep and Wool at Rhinebeck. The card of which is who knows where. I don't really know where that is. Okay, but these tags, they're just cute. They're removable. I think they screw on. Little heart. Little one that fell on the floor. This one says Rhinebeck 2022. And the other one I think just has a ball of yarn on it. Little ball. So yeah, I love those. So I plan, you know, like I said, I've got so much yarn. Live in Florida. Who am I knitting for? People who live somewhere cold, I guess, until I can get to be somewhere cold. And then, as I mentioned, I ended up going to the Circle of Stitches, which is a yarn shop in Salem. And there I got this pin, which says Cosmic AF. And, oh, I got a couple t-shirts. They're not in here. I'll wear them on future podcasts. And then I got this kind of like, they call it an altar cloth, but it's also a lovely cloth to lay my tarot cards out when I follow my witchy calling, I guess. Anyhow, so I got this because, you know, and it says Circle of Stitches in it. And then I ended up getting a tarot reading there, which was pretty cool. Fun times. And then I got some crystals, and crystal for a friend, which she loves, by the way, so must have been some good energy stuff in there. Yeah, so for the most part, I think, without the absence of the t-shirts. Oh no, I got this little necklace too. Actually, I got some jewelry that wasn't Rhinebeck. Oh no, I got other jewelry. Oh, one of which is this. I got this at Wool and Folk too. Oh, damn it, the name's slipping. Description. I got this necklace at New York Sheep and Wool. And I had to because, look, it's a crow. I'm sensing a theme here. I mean, crow. You get it. I don't have to spell it out for you. But yeah, it's not my usual look, but I think it would make great on my fortune-telling costume. So I bought it. Judge me. Yeah, and I think for the most part, that concludes the yarn purchases for my New York Sheep and Wool trip, with one very important exception, and that's these. Look, I had to get it. I couldn't leave it behind. It was too cute. Plus, there's no better representation of the love I have for my yarn community than this pillow right here. This is, I know you guys are going to probably scream the name back to me, but there's this vendor that at Wool and at Rhinebeck, and they have only Gotland sheep fibers. So not fleeces. I don't know if they sell fleeces. They probably did. They sold some sheep skins. They had fiber. So I'm sure that that is the fleece I'm talking about. But they had a couple of these, and this is the largest of the two pillows. So they had a little matching set of pillows. This part is not my color palette, but guess what? It sits on my chair like this, and it makes me happy. And I have to keep it away from my cats because apparently they want to eat it. But yeah, thanks. Thanks, New York. Had a great time. And this pillow's this pillow makes me happy. So yeah, now officially that's a wrap on my Rhinebeck weekend. And I'll work on putting this up and putting some descriptions, some details about what I purchased in the description below. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. And if you were able to go, if you saw me there, if we met, leave me a note in the comments. Happy to meet more people. Maybe next year will be the year that I go to Rhinebeck not by myself. I mean, I manage. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to have somebody else make plans and I just show up to them instead of me sitting around wondering what plans to make and then watching the time go by until there's no time left. It's the way I work. All right, guys. See you next time. Thanks for watching.